Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm in Hustburg, Tennessee right now. I'm on a farm in the middle of a field. And if you're wondering why I'm out of breath, I've walked this field quite a bit here. And I'm fat. But this field belonged to, in 1877 to 1879, a man named J.D. Howard. J.D. Howard was not a good man. J.D. Howard was one of the worst, most prolific criminals in American history. And you're thinking, well, why wouldn't I have heard of J.D. Howard? Well, let me tell you what he did. Maybe this will spark some memories. He was a known train robber. Does that spark anything? All of his victims were shot in the back, unfortunately. And you know what that meant back in those days. Any kind of a wound was not good. Anything else? He robbed banks. Belonged to a big famous gang called the James Gang. Anything? That's right, J.D. Howard didn't exist. J.D. Howard was in fact Jesse James. Jesse James and his wife went on the run. They came here in 1877 under the assumed name of J.D. Howard, and he and his wife Z moved here, started raising horses, even raced horses for a while here in some local races. And she had twin boys, Gould and Montgomery, and they only lived like 3 or 4 days, and shortly thereafter they were buried right here, which they have been preserved here. I'm glad that they did this. They didn't move the bodies. So whoever owns this, whether it was a descendant of Jesse James or the man that he rented this farm from, I don't know who owns this right now. But I can tell you that a lot of people have said that they've heard children screaming and crying. Of course you probably would. There's a church not too far from here. There's farmhouses. Yeah, I could see that. I've been here several times. I cannot say that I've heard anything other than some whispers, like out from the woods back there, just coming from that direction. Just a constant, like, people whispering loudly. But I can't say that it wasn't, you know, or wasn't, couldn't have been some farm equipment back that way, or, you know, there are several plants, like where they produce things, chemical plants, stuff like that, in this area, far off. Could have been something there, don't know. But when I've been here, every time I come here, and if any of you have been here to this farm, yeah, which evidently it's pretty well known, and quite a few people come here every year, that there's a tree right here as you first walk in down this path that I'm on. It's this tree right there, that tree. I haven't heard anybody say anything about this tree. I've heard no children screaming, crying. The whispers, I don't know. I wouldn't think babies would be whispering. But I do know when I come to this tree right here, this tree, man, I get this weird feeling. There is a feeling like my skin's crawling. My hair is just kind of standing up on the back of my neck. You can see it's just, I don't know if there's anything. It's just an old ugly tree. But yeah, there's a weird feeling here. Evidently, maybe somebody was selling this property, or I don't know, rented it. I don't know. But yeah, that tree right there. Man, I don't know. If you do come here to this place, just please be respectful, I'll ask, so that, and don't trespass down on that land there or across the street. You know, they're gracious enough to let you walk down there and see the graves, so please just stay on the path and don't go all over the place. There's a kind of an old barn down there. Now, at one time, you see back behind me here, there was an old house, And I don't know if it was original or like an old barn. I wouldn't think that a house from 1877 would, I don't know, because it was tore down quite a few years ago. It could have been. It was in pretty bad shape. But I'd like to see them, you know, replicate that house. Maybe put a little small museum up here. This is historical. Now just think, right back there, I put my feet in the same place that Jesse James has stuck his feet. And now I'm not saying that Jesse James is a hero of mine in any way. Everything that he did was pretty bad. I don't condone anything that he did at all, but he was a historical figure. And wow, I mean, that's just amazing to me. And maybe some of the feelings that I get here are just that, you know, you stand in place of history, somebody historical, that you know, you kind of get this feeling. So maybe something at the tree, maybe, I just don't know. I just don't know. But when you come here, tell me what you think about that tree. That tree right here. Just walk by it and tell me. So I'm not staying here all night because the owners don't want that. So I don't want to be the ghost on the property. And so I would advise you not to do the same thing. But yeah, you got to come here and check it out. I mean, with knowing the history of the man who owned it, how evil he was, and you know, there was a loss of life right there, precious little ones. And in the back of my mind, I know in the back of yours too, you probably think, did he do it? Or did they die naturally? Because medicine wasn't very good back then, we don't know. They're not going to dig up the little bodies to see. But could he have? I don't know. Maybe that's at that tree there. Makes me wonder. There was no autopsy. They just buried the babies there. Back then, who did autopsies? So yeah, I could see this place being haunted. I could see it very easily. And if you know this area pretty well, this little road, when you go back through here and you wind up around Paint Rock, Tennessee, I have been there. You can go through to Waverly, Tennessee that way. And I've seen them out in the river when the river's down and the little mud flats down there, dancing around a cauldron at night. Witches. I heard people all the time talking about, you know, devil worshippers there killing their cats and skinning them right there on their property. And people very credible. I know these things happen. But you know, this area has some weird people. So yeah, maybe that's one reason why you shouldn't be out here at night. Maybe it's not ghosts or wild animals you have to fear. It's crazy people. So you tell me what you think when you come here. Go to that tree. Nowhere on this farm that I've ever walked. I haven't walked many places. Gave me any kind of a creepy feeling whatsoever. Even at the graves of the children. Yeah, I get that feeling like, wow, Jesse James stood here and I'm standing here. You kind of have that awe feeling. But that tree, something's there. So you tell me, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever been here and you've had any kind of experiences, please let me know in the comments. If you live around this area, I live in Kentucky, Arkansas, Mississippi, have any places there that you know that I should visit, I would love to visit. You know, I like old graveyards. Like I have some graveyards around here that only have just a few graves in it, like just like this one, like in the 1876, you know, in the middle of the woods, just in a cutout round of trees. Let me tell you, that place is creepy. I definitely would not want to be there at night. Snakes would get you before anything else would. But I'm gonna go visit there. There are some houses that have had some murders in. I'm trying to work it out where I can get in there, but the people that own them now are like, I don't know. So, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. You know, I would be that way too. And so I'm working on it, people. So we're going to have some good creepy places, and you can decide for yourself if these are haunted by coming here and tell me you know, I've had this experience. I would love to know that. Everybody else who watches this video would probably love to know that. And I will see you next time.